sometimes these guys are in such a hurry to get to the NFL that they don't realize the moments that they're missing out on. And playing in a bowl game is a great moment. You're a lot of times playing a big brand, a big school. It's going to be on a big stage, and maybe you are a senior and it's your last go round. You could not have pulled me out of the locker room to make me miss that game against Georgia, my last game, to wear that uniform and to play with my buddies. It was not an option. And whether I was going to the NFL with the first pick overall or I was never going to play in the NFL, it would have been the same mindset.
Well, I always had the philosophy that when I took, whether it be a bowl game or if I went cross country to play someplace or a unique school, if we're going to go far enough, I want my players to experience what's going on there. I want them to see what's happening in that particular city. Same thing with the bowl game. I tell them, whatever we're paying for, you do it. Take advantage of the experience we're going to give you. We're going to try to expose you to that city and with everything they do. So it's an experience for the players, something that, I encourage them to embrace it, take in everything, really enjoy the experience, and then play well in the bowl game.
Bowl operators know how to run games, and they're great at it. They know how to bring in the community, security, obviously police and fire and all that, but more so reach out into the community and have community involvement. I think if you're a traveling event, the last thing you want to do is just go into the community, have the event, and leave. You want to have roots in the community, and that's what the bowls bring for us, in addition to the great tradition, the great branding that comes with bowl games.
Say to truly enjoy it, treat each moment like it truly is your last. Honestly, you don't get that time with your teammates, that time with your coach's back. I remember leaving my rookie year. I'd always have dreams about being back in college, playing back at DKR or being at a bowl game with my teammates. So for me, the best way to not have regrets is just to live in each moment, appreciate your teammates, appreciate those moments you have with each other, because eventually, it goes away.
Most coaches would say that, on a national championship run or what propelled them into a really great season, more cases than not, you probably look back at what happened in the bowl game, because that's the last thing, right? And that could have happened either way, good or bad, right? So in our case, we had, I think, a double overtime win in the Outback Bowl against Northwestern, which really set the tone for the offseason. I mean, it makes going into that weight room, it makes those 5:30 a.m. workouts, it makes them completely different in terms of mindset, right? And then there's some coaches that could probably look back, maybe it was a bad loss, and it was a chance for them to really recalibrate and refocus, and maybe that propelled them into, the next season and maybe a really stellar year.
When I was a little kid, my dad and I would cut out the bowl games from the newspaper and would alternate picking the games, and we'd follow it throughout the entirety of the bowl season. Like, that was such a big deal to me. I couldn't wait until the bowl matchups were announced. And then having a chance to play in the 4 bowl games and a 10-5, when I was there, I couldn't imagine watching my teammates walking out onto the field playing without me. And especially my senior year, one more time to get a chance to put that uniform on, particularly with what the orange and blue meant to me from my childhood. No doubt I would have played. And I understand people have to make business decisions, but I think unfortunately people look at college football as a stepping stone instead of looking at it for the experiential opportunity that it is. And so much of who I am and what I've been able to achieve in my post-playing days came from playing football for Coach Spurrier, came from playing at Florida, and couldn't say enough about, what college football means in general to me as a broadcaster, as a person, as a former player, and just a fan of the sport in general.
Once you get to that point, what guys are going to go to the next level and what guys this is going to be their last game. So me knowing that I was going to continue to play football, that was something that I wanted to make sure I send those guys out with a victory, to get a ring, just to have something to remember. And just on my side of things, I wanted to go out with a bang too, because at that time, it's still range. You can still raise your draft prospect and grade and stuff like that. So me playing in a lower division, Conference USA, I felt like that was the right time for me to let the whole world see what type of player I was, how good I was, and it actually helped me out.
So many of my colleagues or teammates are so obsessed with going to the NFL that sometimes they don't enjoy college. And when they don't start right away as a freshman or a sophomore, they start to panic because their NFL dream doesn't, it might not pan out. And I totally understand that. But I also feel like having the dream of playing college football is something that you have to live in the moment. And so I just think that so many people are so obsessed with going to the NFL that they forget about, college it's like a glorified high school, because you're still with guys who, it's not just your full-time job. It's still fun and all those things. And I mean, I don't know how it is in the NFL, but I love college, and I think it's good when you can get that team buy into that mentality.